Penolakan terhadap kedatangan gelombang pengungsi Rohingya di Aceh bermunculan, masyarakat meminta pemerintah bertindak mengurus para pengungsi Rohingya. Lalu mengapa etnis Rohingya bisa sampai berpindah dari Bangladesh ke Indonesia dan bagaimana pertanggungjawabannya? Bergabung Anne Mayman selaku perwakilan UNHCR untuk Indonesia. And thank you for joining us. And
thank you for inviting.
Yeah, thank you. As local police mentioned earlier, some of Rohingya refugees carrying UNHCR card from Bangladesh. So why refugees can escape from refugee camp in Cox's Bazar to Indonesia?
So the camp in Cox's Bazar in Bangladesh is currently hosting around 1 million Rohingya refugees. And the vast majority of those have been there since 2017, and some have also been there for more than 6, 7, 8 years. And they have been registered by UNHCR in Cox's Bazar, and they hold UNHCR ID cards. Now, those camps are not detention centers. Because seeking asylum and being a refugee is not a crime. So given that the current situation, and that might not be completely known in Indonesia, in Cox's Bazar, there is a lot of insecurity that has happened the last period. UNHCR has recorded over 1,000 security incidents in the camps, targeting refugees, refugee volunteers, refugee health workers and teachers and others. There are killings, extortions and kidnappings. And we have also seen a reduction of the food and material assistance for the Rohingya refugees in Cox's Bazar because of lack of donor interest. So there are different reasons as to why the refugees are seeking other territories. And it might also not be known that currently in other countries, for example, apart from the 1 million Rohingya refugees that are in Bangladesh, we have around 105,000 Rohingya refugees already in Malaysia, and we have also many in India and Thailand. So I think that's important to know in the current ongoing situation in Aceh. And it is not so, in accordance with international law, that a refugee would lose his or her refugee status because he or she is leaving his or her first country of asylum.
Okay, Indonesian government currently looking for a new site to accommodate the increasing number of Rohingya refugees in Indonesia, coordinating with UNHCR and also central government. What approach is used to solve this big problem, this big issue?
Yes, so it's important to keep in mind that while we have had an unprecedented high number of Rohingya arrivals in Aceh the last 3 weeks, we have had boat arrivals before in Aceh, going the whole way back to 2015, 18, 20, 21, 22. And every time we have had boat arrivals, we have coordinated with the local authorities and the national authorities on identifying suitable sites. And this is what we are currently doing. So we have currently 5 locations where the Rohingya refugees are, and 2 of them have already been designated. But the problem that we have is that they are overcrowded. So they are beyond capacity. So that's one of the reasons why we need additional sites. And the other reason is that in 2 locations, we have Rohingya refugees, especially women and children, that are residing in very inappropriate conditions, near beaches, under tents that are not protecting against the weather and other situations. So that's also one of the reasons why we need additional sites. But we are in discussion, constructive discussion with the national and local authorities. And I am confident that we, in the coming and very near future, will be able to stabilize the situation.
Okay. For UNHCR, what is the role of UNHCR to handle Rohingya refugees?
Yes, so UNHCR is the UN's refugee agency. We were created in 1951, and our mandate is to work in close cooperation with governments to provide international protection to refugees and to find durable solutions. And that UNHCR does in over 130 countries around the world. And we do that as well in Indonesia. We work very closely with the government, but we also work with other UN agencies, for example, the International Organization for Migration and UNICEF, UNFPA, and other UN agencies, as well as several national organizations, like, for example, GRS, YKMI, and many national and local organizations. So we have a humanitarian community where we address the situation in close coordination with the national and local authorities.
Okay, and over decades, Indonesia has upheld the humanitarian tradition of welcoming refugees with open arms. But we know that we expect to activate coordination between countries, especially among Asian, in order to work together to address the Rohingya refugee crisis. In your opinion, but why so far Asian has been unable to tackle the crisis in Myanmar and also Rohingya crisis?
I think that if you look worldwide, the last 10, 12, 20, 30, 40 years going back, you will see that the number of armed conflicts that have started has been very high. But unfortunately, the number of armed conflicts and wars that have been solved and that have ended has been extremely low, which is also why we see a very high number of refugees in the world today. We have over 45 million refugees in the world today, and that number will unfortunately continue to increase until we solve the wars, the human rights violations, and the armed conflict. And I think that Indonesia has played a strong leadership role to address the situation in Myanmar, which obviously is at the root of a lot of suffering, including for the Rohingya refugees. So I think Indonesia, with its regional and global leadership, will continue to try and tackle this. And I'm sure with Indonesia's diplomatic leadership skills, and hopefully we will see some result in addressing this in ASEAN and Forum and any other fora that is available.
Okay, we hope there will be a concrete solution to handling this Rohingya refugees. And Memang, UNHCR representative for Indonesia, thank you for joining us on CNN Indonesia Connected.
Thank you so much.